Good morning, brothers and sisters. Welcome to our morning heart devotion. Let's begin by greeting our heavenly parent and true parents. 천지인 참 부모님께 경배. 바로. Please receive Reverend Milhan Stevens for our family pledge.
가정맹세 1. 자녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본향 땅을 찾아 본연의 창조의 상인 지상 천국과 천상 천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 자녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 중심, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 자녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과 황족권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 자녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조의 상인 천주대 가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 자녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 천상세계와 대상적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 자녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 천운을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 자녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심정문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 자녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 자녀극 시대를 맞이하여 절대신앙, 절대사랑, 절대복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상천국과 천상천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Milhan. For our opening prayer, if I could invite up Akemi-san, Akemi Hirose.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Let's pray. Our most loved heavenly parent, dear parents, thank you so much for the new beginning, new day, new moment. We have so many brothers and sisters to attend morning devotion centering on Dr. Yong. We pray to the mother's safety and to the mother being very long to live her long with healthy mind. And we really pray for the leaders of all of the world, for the continent. We pray all the local leaders of God, Pastor Nauki, and all the sub-region leaders. In this country, we really want all of the people to let your word know. I happen to drive Manhattan, and so many people still, they don't know who you are and who they are, and they are all God's children. but they don't know the truth, and I feel so sad, and you feel so sad as well. Please use us, each one of us, to hide your love and your heart to convey to each one of the people. And let us open our mind and open our heart to receive your word for this day. And please speak through Dr. Yong for the guidance that we need. I'm really grateful. We pray in my name. You can close the bless and pray for me.
Raju, thank you. Akemi-san, I think your voice is unclear. I could not understand what you are talking about. Please, next time, Noah, speak louder and we can understand you. Thank you, Akemi-san.
Thank you, Akemi-san, for your prayer. And once again, good morning, everybody. It's really good to see you all again every single day, morning devotion. So let's go and share our appreciation with one another, and we'll be right back in 7 minutes. welcome back. Welcome back. I hope you had a good sharing. Wow, my breakout was so warm. I want to start by inviting up Peter and Monica Lewis. If you could share your appreciation.
Okay. Morning, everyone. Well, I shared a very simple appreciation. I just appreciate waking up in my house with my family because I had a very strange dream. Oh, what happened? Yeah, okay, I don't know what's happening, but with the screen. So basically the dream was I believe it was Seoul. Felt very, very kind of lots of winding streets, and I set off to meet my wife, and she was with a Korean elder. And we're going to meet in a restaurant. I wasn't quite sure, but anyway, so okay, I'll meet you there. And then I set off to meet her and this Korean elder in a restaurant in Seoul somewhere, and I just got horribly lost, and I just didn't know where I was. I sort of backtracked at one point and then came back, and then the turning I just made had gone. It was one of these kind of strange dreams. So I'm just grateful to wake up in my home with my wife and family this morning. So
great, we got you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
All right. So, and yeah, I'm grateful for communication, with my young adult daughter. Like sometimes it's not planned, but it's impromptu. And when you expect it the least, when you're about to go to bed, she knows I'm getting up for morning devotions. I got to go to bed early. But when she wants to talk, then she wants to talk, So that was like yesterday. But I felt it was very nice because we really went deep and she was very vulnerable. And I really appreciate that. And I always tell her, if you're open and communicative with your parents, I can protect you. That's how God can work. And just knowing where your child is at and what they go through, their innermost struggles, their innermost secrets, it gives me so much energy and hope because I can, pray for her. I can share in the experience. And so I'm so appreciative of these moments. They're not so frequent, but when they come and they appear, it's you got to grab it and stay up, even though I was half asleep on the couch. And I said, 10 more minutes. Okay, I got to go to bed. But thank you. It was great yesterday.
Thank you so much, Peter and Monica. I think your couple really taking care of the two children, Shona and Hannah, very, very well. Well, they are really beautiful children. Thank you so much. And as a father and mother, show such a good example to your children. That's why your children really dedicating for the sake of the God's will. Thank you, Luis couple. 감사합니다.
Thank you, Lewis family. Beautiful sharing. Next, I'd like to invite up the Lalonde family. Lalonde family, if you could share.
Morning. Happy Thursday.
Wow. So long time. Okay, good. Please share.
Yeah, I shared with my appreciation this morning was to recognize how important it is to appreciate people. But yesterday I had to interview about 4 or 5 potential employees, and I only asked them 2 questions. The first question I asked them is, give me 4 of your core values, and they'll give them to me. And then I asked them, not related to work, give me 4 things that you appreciate every morning that you get up. And it's amazing what goes on there. So yesterday, there was one young lady that spoke, and her appreciation was raise up God, family, health, and the opportunity to have this job. By the time we were finished that interview, we were both crying. We both had tears in our eyes.
Oh my God.
And for me, that experience I have, and I've done this with all our employees, and it's amazing how God sends us people.
Yeah.
And so our business is centered on how much we appreciate each other and how much we appreciate the opportunity to serve even our employees. So thank you so much for morning devotion, because it gives us an opportunity to take this and bring it into our business.
Wow.
That's my appreciation.
You know how to apply our life of faith, how apply to your job and your employees. Beautiful testimony. Oh, that is really powerful. This is really inspired me very much. Okay, go to my relative.
Good morning, Dr. Yong. Yeah, my appreciation is similar to Monica, so about communication. So last night I was doing my payroll, and then because we came the whole day, me and my husband went to visit one of our businesses, and then I was doing my payroll at night, and then my daughter Hannah came to me, Oma, how was your trip and everything, you and Appa, something. And so communication, she shared everything what's going on with her, so, and for about anything and about other people and what's going on, so it's a nice feeling, like when your children come to you and share what in their heart, so it's something like that, so I really appreciate that moment. And then my husband went together as like always happy with my husband. So
because your couple show that kind of standard that all the children will follow. Yeah. Okay. I want to hear some of the children. Hannah.
Hi, good morning. Yeah, I'm just very grateful for the people I have in my life. My co-workers I have just in the mall, some that don't even work with me. They come to me for like advice, and I feel like my kiosk is like a therapy session. But some days it's just I'm overwhelmed with a lot of their struggles or challenges, but I feel like I don't need to take on all the pressure or give them the exact advice they need, except smile for them or just listen, because they just need that little bit of light in their day to get them through. So I just really feel like no matter what I stress over the right words to say, I just gotta smile and be happy for them. And
Very good.
just grateful.
Okay. And the next.
Yeah, I'll go. Good morning, Dr. Young. Just going along with what my dad was talking about, our employees, I'm just very grateful. I feel like all our employees that we have is like handpicked from God and sent to us. And it's very rare to have like 30 employees and every single one of them feel like family to us. And just the experience I had the other day, she's our newest hire. And I was explaining to her how my parents got married and just my faith and my core values. And she said to me, she turned to me, she's like, I just have so much more respect for your parents. And she goes, your church and your community just has a sense of warmth. And she's like, I love what they stand for. And she just asked me to like teach or like learn more about it. And I feel like just our work environment, I'm able to do that. So I'm just grateful for that. Thank you.
Wow. Okay, two boys, shortly, okay?
Okay, my appreciation is just, I had a victorious kind of day. And for me, victorious kind of days are just being able to have all my relationships in harmony and full of love, and just being able to have God flow through them. And I was able to have no negativity or anything. Or like,
Okay.
right, so
Thank you. Good. And then last one.
Okay. My appreciation today was just how close of a relationship I have with my siblings, and I appreciate how much that love I feel from them each and every single day. Like at school, whenever it was like the first day or any day, they always come up to me and just always ask how it was at school, how was it, just how my day was. And whenever like yesterday I had to take the bus home, but then my brother texted me just or called me just asking if I was safe, if I got home safely, and my siblings as well. So that's my appreciation.
Thank you. And when Donald, you are taking care of the 30 employees, I think you wake up and then you really, of course you will do maybe, you need to pray each one of the 30 employees every day, and then you can guide them spiritually very well. Secondly, you need to make your time to talk to them one by one. Then you need to ask, what's your wish? What's your problem? And then you need to put your maximum effort to solve each one of them. And then you can become parents, and automatically you can witness them. You need to witness them and teaching divine principle. Anyone who is the really most able type person, and then teach divine principle through one-on-one, one by one. So, and then I think your company become more prosperous. I really appreciate your such leadership and taking care of your employees very well, your children. You are really one of the model Fundok family. Thank you so much, our 랄론데 family. 감사합니다. Thank you.
Oh, that was like a crash course in natural subjugation, living testimony. Thank you so much for your appreciation, everybody. And now our hearts, I'm sure, are warm. They are excited to receive. And I pray you can have an open heart, open mind as we receive now for our morning heart devotion, Dr. Chong-Shik Yong.
안녕하세요. Good morning. Good morning. My dear brothers and sisters, clergy and ambassador for peace, 안녕하십니까? Whenever I wake up every morning, really God encouraging me that God saying, you really need to guide our entire members really beautifully and really, how to say, every morning you need to share really kind of unforgettable of the memory through the morning devotion. I say, God, I cannot do much. Don't worry, I will talk to you. I will talk to the people through your mouth. That's why I always, my real prayer is, how can I have empty mind and deny myself? Let God use my mouth. And once again, I really so inspired to hear the Laronde family's such beautiful appreciation. Today, I'd like to talk about women will play a leading role in the ideal world too, from True Mother's Anthology, Volume 2. Let's study.
Women will play a leading role in the ideal world too. Today, I would like to reveal to you the fundamental cause of this problem. And at the same time, I would like to suggest the solution to realizing the ideal world for which we yearn with all of our hearts. This is not something that comes from human knowledge or thought. As you may know already, my husband, the Reverend Samyang Moon, has devoted his whole life to solving these issues. Living by his side and attending him, I have been deeply moved and inspired by his teachings and his life of practicing love for God and humanity. When a wife has attained such deep enlightenment about the truth, and when she has been inspired and moved constantly by her husband's character and his life, I believe that it is her task to make it known. This is because family breakdown and disharmony in the relationship between husband and wife are the fundamental causes of problems in humanity and are reflected in today's troubled world. When you think about it, there are only two types of people living on this earth today. These two types are men and women, that is, husbands and wives. Though innumerable people are living together and all kinds of relationships and problems are arising, the core of all these problems is the relationship between these two types of people, men and women. Therefore, we need to examine the original heavenly way that God established to be followed by the first man and the first woman.
Yeah, thank you. The solution to realizing the ideal world for which we yearn with all our hearts is not something that comes from human knowledge or thought. If all the problems of the fallen man had been the result of the human knowledge or thought, all problems would have already been solved. But look at the fallen world today. Problems are growing serious day by day. What this means is that even all the saints and sages and great figures that have come and gone so far have not been able to solve the various problems of fallen man. So we come to a conclusion that all the problems of the fallen humankind and the world are impossible to solve unless it begins with the individual who is one with God, not fallen man. That's why everybody's waiting for the Messiah. You know, family breakdown and disharmony in the relationship between husband and wife are the fundamental causes of problems in humanity and are reflected in today's evil world when crime and struggle and decadence have become rampant. There are 8 million people living on this earth today, but in the end, the problem lies in the relationship between man and woman. That is a husband and wife. Therefore, if we just solve the problems of men and women, husbands and wives, all problems can be solved at the same time. Therefore, in a way, for a man and woman, husband and wife to become one and love each other is the solution to all problems. The way of a husband loving his wife and the wife loving her husband is the shortcut to world peace. In conclusion, world peace starts from the mind and body becoming one and the husband and wife becoming one. From that point of view, what's the biggest contribution to world peace? The first is to control one's own body. The second way is that husband loves his wife, and the wife loves his husband, her husband. The way to achieve the world peace is not far away, but it is the closest. I'd like to remind you again, what is the best way to contribute for world peace? How can I make unity between mind and body? This is the way to make this the way to contribute for world peace. Secondly, how much do I love my wife? How much do I love my husband? That is the way, best way to contribute for world peace. Nothing else. If we create that kind of the unity between mind and body, at the same time, create the unity between husband and wife, then can be solved all the problems. That's why, my dear brothers and sisters, you need to think, every day I need to contribute for world peace. What is that? Control my body. Secondly, I love my spouse. This is the way, contribute for world peace, best way. Actually, the answer is simple. The practice is not easy, right? Living divine principle, the human heart as viewed through the spiritual and physical minds. Let's just study EDP.
The spirit mind, the physical mind, and their relationship in the human mind. The relationship between the spirit mind and the physical mind is like that between internal nature and external form. When they become one through give and take action with God as their center, they form a united functioning entity which guides the spirit self and physical self to become harmonious and progress toward the purpose of creation. This united entity is the mind of a human being. The conscience is that faculty of the human mind which, by virtue of its inborn nature, always directs us toward what we think is good. However, as the standard of goodness in fallen human beings varies, the standard of their conscience also fluctuates. This causes frequent contention, even among those who advocate a conscientious life. The original mind is that faculty of the human mind which pursues absolute goodness. The original mind relates to the conscience as internal nature to external form. A person's conscience directs him to pursue goodness according to the standard he has set up in ignorance, even though it may differ from the original standard. However, the original mind repels this faulty standard and works to correct the conscience. As long as our spirit mind and physical mind are under the bondage of Satan, the functioning entity they form through their give and take action is called the evil mind. The evil mind continually drives people to do evil. Our original mind and conscience directs us to repel the evil mind. They guide us in desperate efforts to reject evil desires and cling to goodness by breaking our ties with Satan and turning to face God.
So based on that, let's study Father's word.
Seek the word which can move the original mind. Even fallen humans still retain their original minds. If the word which brought about the history of creation were to return to the earth, even fallen humans would have no choice but to follow it. This is why, as humans living in the last days, all of you absolutely must seek the word that moves your original mind within your lifetime. You must be aware that if you are unable to find the word, you will be swept away by groans of misery and will be unable to make a connection with God, no matter how hard you may try.
Yes, although human beings fell, the reason God has been able to walk with fallen people is because fallen humans still retain their original mind. Therefore, if the word which brought about the history of creation were to return to the earth, there will be hope for God's will to be realized for the first time in history. However, you must be aware that if you are unable to find the word, you will be swept away and by groans of misery and will be unable to make a connection with God no matter how hard you may try. Therefore, you need to find the word that makes the original mind uncontrollably happy. You need to find the word that you cannot forget once you hear it and cannot help but follow. Have you ever heard the word of the divine principle and felt the joy that your original mind could not control? As you listen to the word every morning, do you realize that true parents' words are truly the words of the eternal truth? If my original mind does not rejoice even after listening to the word of the divine principle and true parents, it is necessary to know that I am seriously ill. If the problems of our heart cannot be healed even through the divine principles, there is no way to heal our problems anywhere in the world. So we will be eternally ill. That's why when you are this kind of situation, when you completely lost your first love, your first motivation, I think really you need to go back to the original point. You really need to reflect on yourself. You really need to repent yourself. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Otherwise, without that kind of the going back to original point, and without that kind of without repentance, we cannot get back again. That's the problem, my brothers and sisters. That's why, how can we really keep first the motivation and our first love when we receive the God's word? We are so inspired, right? That's what's the best way to really keep first the motivation and determination. So far, my own experience, okay, I already explained so many times, but my own experience, you really not just only practice, you need to really bring the result. And really, you need to multiply. When you focus on multiplication, and then you can get truth. Wow, this truth is really eternal truth. This truth is really reality. When you really multiply and more, and you again confirmation. Wow, this truth is really eternal truth. And next content.
The original mind wants you to be proud of yourself. We want to be proud of ourselves within our daily lives. We want to hold our heads high in front of not just our neighbors, but the whole world. It is not wrong to want to be proud of ourselves. This is the desire of the original mind. It is this natural heart of creation that brings us to the heavenly kingdom. It is our hearts that want to make our names known by not just our families, but by society, our nation, and the world.
Father said we want to be proud of ourselves within our daily lives. We want to hold our heads high in front of not just our neighbors, but the whole world. It is not wrong to want to be proud of ourselves. This is the desire of the original mind. Also, when parents want to be proud of their children, children want to be proud of their parents. Leaders want to be proud of the members, and the members want to be proud of their leaders. It is also the original mind. However, you always need to think if the heart of the wanting to be proud is self-centered or is genuinely for the sake of the bring joy to the whole. Always need to check your motivation, centering on self-center or centering on other-center. Joy centered on original mind is one where my joy becomes the joy of the whole. And the joy of the whole becomes my joy. Therefore, when I try to be proud, we need to be checked whether or not I am trying to bring God joy as well. And today's youth ministry, the church and individuals that true parents want. Let's study.
Churches that were rebuked. The book of Revelation gives praise and rebuke to the 7 churches. The reason why the 4th church was rebuked was that, despite having love and faith, they could not divide good and evil and just accepted it. This is as wrong as Abraham offering the dove whole instead of cutting it. Isn't a person with 2 masters a prostitute? Isn't a woman with 2 husbands called a prostitute? The Lord rebuked this church very much. Next, God rebuked the lukewarm church. In all, there are 5 kinds of rebuke. But if you classify them in detail, you can create 6 categories. One of them is the rebuke of you have a reputation of being alive, but you are dead. To be lukewarm means to be dead. Being lukewarm is the same as being dead. That is why those 2 rebukes can be viewed as one, and the rebukes divided into 5 categories.
Yeah, recently I'm talking about the book of Revelation, right? The reason why the 4th church was rebuked was that despite having love and faith, they could not divide good and evil and just accept it. Father said that serving 2 masters is a sexual immorality. The principle says that we fallen people stand in the midway position where we can be divided as being on God's side when we make good conditions, and on Satan's side when we make evil conditions. If we stand in the position of the serving two masters in this way, we are adulterous people. We are the people of the fornication. We need to know that. Not just only really commit chapter 2 sin. You know, what does sexual immorality means? What does adulterous people means? We are serving two masters. God hated that one. That's why we need to clearly separate all the time what is good and what is evil. You accept both things, good and evil, then you are adulterous people. Or you are using the name of the embracing. Embracing the person is okay, but you cannot embrace that person's sin. You cannot embrace evil. If we embrace and goodness and evil at the same time, become very confused. Why we cannot raising up our children? We do not teach them what is the good, what is the evil. That is the problem. That's why children really cares. What is the absolute standard? That's why we need to correct them and teach them what is good and what is evil. Just you try to love them and even though make mistakes, just embrace them. That is not good way. Have to be very clear. God talked to the Adam and Eve. If you eat the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, you should die. God warned them. God warned them. Do not eat. Okay, other things you can do it. Do not eat the fruit. God warned them. How God try to raise up Adam and Eve. Clearly teach them. Do not eat. Do it or don't do it. Clearly teach. If we do not teach clearly what is good and what is evil, do or don't do, children become very chaos. That's why, to guide them, as the parents need to show the model very clearly. You lay the foundation of love and then teach them and then show the model everybody can follow. Why children cannot follow? Because see my parents' standard. And they are arguing and fighting and disharmony between my father and mother, and they say something, nobody follow. Nobody follow. That's why, to guide the members, to guide my children, always need to show the model. What you are saying, you need to do, really practice. Without foundation of the love and say something, no one can follow. This is our second generation problem, our third generation problem, our youth generation problem. Therefore, to be liberated from sexual immorality, we need to clearly distinguish good and evil and serve only one master. Due to the result of the Abraham not cutting the dove, his descendants suffer in Egypt for 400 years. In our life of faith, if we also stand in the position of the serving two masters while being unable to distinguish good and evil, we will pay indemnity and suffer our entire lives all the time. Very important, how to distinguish good and evil. Very, very important, my brothers and sisters. The next church that God rebuked was lukewarm church. Not cold and not hot, just lukewarm church. The Lord rebuked, you have a reputation of being alive, but you are dead. Are you really cold or are you really hot? You just look warm. Then really, Bible say here, you have a reputation of being alive, but you are dead. Next.
The reason the church falls into routine. Today, we need to think for a moment whether the fifth rebuke applies to us. If you have a heart that is centered on your spirit mind, you cannot be lukewarm. If you have the heart of the word centered on your spirit mind, you will live with the passion of the word. The reason for being lukewarm is that one doesn't always divide themselves into good and evil clearly. Another reason is that when you live a life of faith according to one custom and habit, you become lukewarm. When habitual life becomes routine, it becomes lukewarm and clouds the soul. Those who are controlled by their spirit mind are always ambitious. A healthy person can always have good taste, and they eat because they want to, not because it cannot be helped. How tasty is that food? It is like eating because you long for food. Those who cry because their hearts are happy, because they long for the word, their church members, and God, are those who are healthy in spirit.
Yes, the reason our life of faith becomes lukewarm is because we don't divide good and evil clearly. Second, when we live a life of faith according to the one custom and habit, we become lukewarm. When habitual life becomes a routine, it becomes lukewarm and clouds the soul. On the other hand, if you are always centered on spirit mind and have the heart of the word, you will live with the fire of the word. Just like how a healthy person can also enjoy food, those who are dominated by the spirit mind are always ambitious and always enthusiasm. Always powerful to go forward. People who live by their spirit mind always long for the word, long for church, long for members, and long for God. For God, live a life where their heart, through the big, because they are very happy about that. Next.
How is my church and community? Today, I would like to ask a question to all of you who are in charge of a church or community. What kind of church is your church? What kind of community is your community? Is your church being rebuked? Does your church deserve both praise and rebuke? Or does your church receive no praise and only rebukes? If you look at the Bible verse, out of the 7 churches, there were 4 churches that were not praised and only rebuked. The Philadelphia church was the only church that was not rebuked and only praised. In order for the Unification Church to lay a foundation, people with a Christian background should have entered and connected with true parents. And based on that background and foundation, people of other religions and atheists should have been connected.
Yeah. How about myself and my church? And what kind of a community is my community? Are you individuals and churches that are rebuked? Are you individuals and churches that should be both praised and rebuked? Or are you individuals and churches that should receive the no praise and only rebukes? The Philadelphia church was the only church that was not rebuked and only praised. The reason the Philadelphia church was praised was because it became a church that always witnessed and was overflowing with a new life. Next, it was because the Jews that God had prepared were restored. So how can we make God happy? Very simple. We need to follow like the model of the Philadelphia church. We need to witness many can be restored. And then, God's chosen religion, which is a Christian group and Christian member, Christian pastor, get to know true parents. then we can become another model church like Philadelphia Church. I'll say this once again, through the content of this text, we can see how important it is for our unification movement, FFWPU movement, to restore Christianity and establish Christian, which is Cain's position. Final slide.
The church and individuals that true parents want. In order to join our church, you had to enter with both your base and social foundation. It is a shameful salvation for people without any foundation who came to know the true parents on their own. It is like indebted salvation. Everyone, what is true parents' wish? Today, we can know through the Lord's praise for the Philadelphia church. In the end, it is about resolving the incident in Adam's family. We must become the substance of the word that Adam and Eve could not fulfill. That is the foundation of faith. Isn't the next step to build a family of love and a church of love through the foundation of reconciliation between Cain and Abel? We should all become a church that is praised by God and true parents.
My dear brothers and sisters, what is a true parent's wish? In the end, it is about resolving the incident in Adam's family. We must become the substance of the word that Adam and Eve could not fulfill. That is the foundation of faith. Next, it is bring main Cain figures to natural submission through the witnessing and realize families, churches, tribes, and nations of love. In other words, the things that God will praise the most are the restoration of the main Cain figures and natural submission of the Christian groups that heaven prepared. From here, God and true parents' heart is relieved. My brothers and sisters, how can we get praise from God and true parents? Witnessing. Witnessing. There is no witnessing. God, no concern about that person, that church. You know, God's wish is to really, He wants to bring back all His children to His bosom. That's why those who don't have the witness, those who do not have any concern about the witness, God's love is not there. That's why when we know God's wish is to bring back all His children to His bosom. That's why we need to really, really break through witnessing. Today, I talk about the church and individuals that true parents desire. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Incredible word this morning again. Thank you. You touched on many topics, Dr. Yong. You started with how we can contribute to world peace through controlling our body and loving our husbands and wives.
Loving Dr. Yong.
Loving Dr. Yong.
Dr. Yong.
Yes. And also that we have to find the word that stimulates our original mind, and that it's not wrong to be proud, but the question is our motivation. And then you close with the key rebuke, which is being lukewarm, that we have to model the Philadelphia church by resolving what Adam and Eve could not fulfill, the foundation of faith, and also building a family and a church of love through witnessing.
You are very good student. Really, you got the main point. Thank you, Joshua.
Giving the spark notes to the world. Thank you, Dr. Yong, so much for this morning heart devotion. And now all of that is put into action through living testimony. So I'm excited to invite up my brother from the Bay Area, Carp, his recent experiences from campus witnessing. Please receive Yuki Tanaka.
Hi, good morning, brothers and sisters. It's great to see you all, East Coast. Yeah, my name is Yuki Tanaka. I'm 23 years old, and I'd like to share with everyone my experience with on-campus witnessing. But before I go into that, I thought it'd make sense to share a little bit of background information. So I graduated college 2 years ago in 2020, and I decided to join a CARP center after I graduated college, and be a full-time CARP member when I was out of college, it was an interesting choice. But for me, I felt like I really needed something to grow in my life of faith. I was particularly wanting to grow a deeper heart towards true parents and conviction and divine principle. So that's what I did for a year. And unfortunately, because of COVID, there wasn't a lot of in-person opportunities to do one-on-one witnessing, but still, CARP Bay Area managed to raise some guests, and I had the opportunity to support other people with their guests. And it was a great experience. I really enjoyed, alongside with their spiritual parent, raising a guest. But at the same time, I knew that part of my joy in supporting guests was I felt like I was, in a way, secure. Like I'm witnessing, I'm helping raise or teach people divine principle, but there was still this fear of like actually going out and actually doing one-on-one witnessing. And I was kind of using like, oh, I'm supporting a guest as a way to justify myself of like not actually going out, because the limitation that I was dealing with was, can divine principle really save someone's life? I've accepted it as truth, but can it like save your life? That was the biggest invitation, and I think that continued for some time. But then fast forward to 2022, after my experience with Center Life, I got matched in June. Beautiful sister named Yong Sharf. And I also attended the National CARP Momentum Workshop that happened at UTS in July. And it was an amazing workshop for me because I got to hear testimonies of students who were like the only one on their campus, or only one in their city, only second gen or what have you, that is wanting to witness, wanting to start CARP. And it was incredible hearing these stories of people that have overcame a lot and faced persecution and had doubts in themselves too, but they went out and they did it. And I had this moment of repentance during that workshop. I had this evening where I talked to Youngju, and I just kind of confessed that I really felt sorry that I haven't been a person of integrity, and that I'm committed to wanting to live a lifestyle of witnessing, of wanting to share God's love and truth, but my actions didn't reflect that. Even though my heart was there, I still didn't, go out as much as I should be doing, and to God too. So I still growing in my conviction of divine principle and my heart towards your parents. But after that workshop, I just said, okay, I got to do something. So I started off with a 40-day condition to read divine principle, the Black Book, for 21 minutes a day. And then that was a great start. But then eventually the opportunity came to do on-campus witnessing at my university that I graduated from 2 years ago, UC Berkeley. And it was organized by Codon mothers, so I wouldn't be by myself. And despite that, I still felt like, I don't know, I'm like hesitant. But thankfully, because of Takayo Holmes's How to Witness videos, she shared a morning devotion a couple months ago. Also, I want to really appreciate CARP LA. They have this incredible document on how we witness. There's so many tools and resources that I felt like, okay, there's something I have resources available to do on-campus witnessing. And I went out, and it was hard the first time It was tough. Didn't make any appointments. Just very brief conversations. But I felt alive, and I felt like I'm growing. And second time it got better, and then the third time is when I met a brother named Jonathan. And I'd like to quickly share my screen. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so the brother on the left with the blue shirt, his name is Jonathan Su. He is a freshman, born in Los Angeles, Taiwanese descent. And yeah, he doesn't come from a really religious background. His parents are Buddhist, but they're not really practicing. And then he himself never really practiced a faith tradition. But he was really drawn to the idea of unity between religion and science when I shared a brief intro with him. And yeah, since then, we've been studying principle consistently for the past 3 weeks. And it's the first time that I guess, had like a guest that I approached. And I'm baffled every time we meet. Just recently, we finished reading the 3 Great Blessings from POC. And he said for himself, like, even though he's agnostic, he said, I resonate with this. I resonate with 3 Great Blessings. I can see that for my own purpose in life. And yeah, so that was an amazing experience. And it's still, growing, but I think that to get where I'm at now with Jonathan and studying with the guests consistently, I think I learned 2 key lessons. The first one is that even if I have doubts, even though I'm like still growing, that's okay. Go out. Like, God can use unqualified people. And I thought about Peter, John, and Andrew in the Bible. They were fishermen, but Jesus said, like, just come with me, and then you'll do great. And now they're the apostles. So I just felt like, yeah, God can use unqualified people, and if you have doubts, that's okay. Just still go out and do something. And then lastly, that I'm never alone, and I shouldn't do it alone, and always ask for help. I'm so grateful for, again, Takayo Homes, for Carpe LA, for these resources, but also for Carpe Area, for my central figure, for my able figure, the Codon Mothers. It's just incredible how much help there is if you seek for it. And I think it's good to always find a team and never do it by yourself. Have an able figure, and great things will happen. So I would not be here were it not for people that support me. So that's my testimony. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Yuki, Tanaka.
Yes.
You are never alone with your able, with God, and true parents, your brothers and sisters. That kind of togetherism is very, very beautiful and powerful. I'm so happy to hear that you already matching. I don't know. You need to show your future spouse photo, then everybody more excited. Wow. Thank you, Yuki, Tanaka. God bless you. 감사합니다.
Thank you, Yuki. Awesome. Amazing testimony. And I hope we could all receive so much from that and your honest sharing of your course with witnessing. So let's go now into our breakouts, share our insights, takeaways with one another, and we'll be right back in 7 minutes. welcome back. Welcome home to the main room. I'd like to first of all invite up Reverend Desmond Green to share.
Heavenly Green.
Heavenly
안녕하십니까?
어이, 안녕하십니다.
Yeah, you know, Dr. Yong, I got up this morning at 3 minutes after 3,
Oh,
and then immediately my mind flashed towards you.
oh, thank
Dr.
you.
Yong must be up by this time.
Thank you, Heavenly Green. Yeah.
And then I began reading from, True Father's Hundok books, The Way of Unification,
Mm-hmm.
because you spoke so much about the unification between mind and body.
Mm.
And I want to be able to become the dwelling place of God, where God can take residence in my life
Mm.
to others through me.
Mm.
So today I have, a guest who is coming
Oh, really?
to meet me at 1 o'clock.
Wow.
And I think your message this morning has infused me with new life.
Mm.
I'm not a lukewarm guy. I'm hot. My heart is on fire. Read the word every day to my heart, and I'm deeply grateful for your consistency.
Mm.
And because of your consistency, I too am becoming more consistent in my devotion.
Your spirit is always alive.
That's right.
Ah, oh.
So I'm grateful to God and true parents for really bringing, raising you up.
Mm.
And also your spiritual father,
Mm. Mm.
Dr. Yong Han Lee,
Yeah, thank
raising you up and making you an offering to the world.
you.
So God bless you, Dr. Young. And thank you very much.
So much. Thank you so much, Desmond. Whenever you appear sometimes confusing, you are sharing the reflection or you are going to offer song, something like that. Anyway, thank you so much, Heavenly Green.
Yeah. 감사합니다.
Yeah.
Adieu. Thank you, Reverend Green. Yes, not a lukewarm man. Totally alive, totally on fire. And now I want to stay in New York, and I'm going to invite up if Stephanie Diaz. It's actually Stephanie's birthday today. So happy birthday, Stephanie. So special
really?
birthday sharing. Stephanie, take it away if you could.
Wow, really?
Thank you. Yeah, I've been listening to morning devotion on Spotify. I don't know if that's like a young adult thing, but God told me to wake up early today to be here. So thank you, Joshua, and thank you, Dr. Young. Your message really moved my heart this morning. I was telling the sisters in the breakout how I appreciated, something so simple as just connecting true parents' words, right, as the truth, and having that in our original mind, it can create miracles and wonders. And like, I just, as I was reading the words and the hundike on the screen, like I felt dancing in my mind almost, like
Wow, exciting. Wow,
yeah, just yeah, being able to really connect with your original mind can create a really wonderful confidence, I think, especially when it comes to your life of faith and the way that you live your life of faith, right? Being really truthful to yourself and the community, your environment, what you can bring to your environment, I think is something we can all uniquely contribute in a certain way. And so when we allow ourselves to connect to our original minds, then I think everyone can dance and everyone can like sing and spread that joy to each other. So that's how I felt when you were sharing that message, because that's how like beautiful God's word is and true parents' word is, right? So yeah, I really appreciated that. Thank you.
Congratulate your birthday.
Thank you.
Birthday to you. Beautiful. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Stephanie, for your sharing. And yeah, again, happy birthday. Wow. Beautiful sharings from everybody. Thank you so much. I have a few announcements. Of course, invite somebody. Invite somebody to be a part of this morning devotion experience. Also, you can use the transcripts and links to the images at edu.familyfed.org, prepared by Dr. Kylie, as a way of inviting someone to share that incredible inspiration and those quotes from Dr. Yong with someone. It could really stimulate their life. And this is a special request from Stephanie. I asked Stephanie, what do you want for your birthday? She said, donate to morning devotion. So if you love Stephanie, take a moment. You can offer that special donation. And I'm sure Stephanie would be so happy. Also, we would be as well. So joyfully give from your hearts if you can, and it keeps this ministry going. Also, there's other ways to donate. You can donate as a offering, a musical offering or a prayer. Please reach out to tzor@unification.org to volunteer for that. Now, for our musical offering this morning, I'm excited to invite up Uncle Craig Smith. Uncle Craig Smith, you can take it away.
Good morning, Dr. Yong. Good morning, brothers and sisters.
Craig Smith.
It's very good to see you. The offering I have this morning is a song by John Denver. This one is a little bit different than most of his ones, which are very upbeat and very lively and very hopeful. This one is really a prayer of anguish to God. And I'm hoping that this can speak to a lot of members that struggle every day with their original mind and seeing the world as it is now. And so this is a song called Opposite Tables. Father, oh Father, please hear me. My song is a cry of desperation. All the words I hear have lost their meaning. My life is a well of confusion, drowned out by the sound of the lost and lonely. Only your voice inside speaks your name to me. If they only knew the things that I know, if they only could see the things that I see, if they only knew the things that I know, if they only could see the things that I see. If they only knew the things that I know, if they only could see the things that I see. My brothers at opposite tables, like fire and water against each other. Only a fool can't see the obvious ending. Are we as ashes to wildwood? Is life just a fire that can only consume us? Is there no vision of love to bind us together? If they only knew the things that I know, if they only could see the things that I see, if they only knew the things that I know, if they only could see the things that I see, If they only knew the things that I know. If they only could see the things that I see. If they only knew the things that I know. And they can know the things that I know if I witness. Thank you very much.
Wow. Greg Smith, this is a very, very meaningful song and very much reflecting on our life. This also your voice is so beautiful. Wow, today you touch our hearts so much. 감사합니다, Greg Smith.
Thank you. Beautiful song. Now for our closing prayer, if I could invite up Aunt Flor Matheson, if you could close us in prayer. If you can unmute. Thank you. Aunt Flor, we cannot hear you. If you could move closer to the mic. Thank you.
We're so eternally grateful to you to have always reaching out to us, always be there. Father, even sometimes we don't always acknowledge you, Father, that you are with us. May we recognize now more than ever before that you have never left us. We're so eternally grateful for the way you have opened for us here in America to have access to your divine word, Heavenly Parents, to Dr. Yong, and so all the atmosphere created in this time to revive our community, to revive our churches. Heavenly Parents, thank you so much. There are no words to express our gratitude. Even sometimes, Father, we are not lived up to your expectation. It's just our longing heart to see your idea to be fulfilled. We so just grateful for our beloved parents also seem like never left us, even he no longer in our presence, but he's never left us because his word shows us that he has always seeking to save our soul, Father, to bring us closer and closer to you. Heavenly Parents, there are not one day we could not see his face through Dr. Yong and through the word he shared. Like he said, he always prepared himself to allow you, Father, to speak to us. And indeed, we're so eternally grateful, Father. We want to be able to make this word in our daily bread in a way that we can strengthen us to do the thing we know deep in our heart we want to do. Please, Heavenly Parents, I pray you can also embrace each one of us as this day we can be able to have that determination to go out and find the people you have prepared. We know, Father, you have prepared people for us, and we just have that kind of courage to do it. Heavenly Parents, we're so eternally grateful also for even the testimonies of Yiki, Father, today. When he says Jesus did not look for people he have qualification, people he was qualified. This truly resonates within me, Father, and I hope I pray that I will remember that for this day and this day to come. That is not so much what we qualify, but how we allow ourselves to be open to you, open our heart to you, and let you use our life, ourselves, and most of our heart to be able to help you to fulfill your idea. Thank you, Heavenly Parents. We invite you to continue to be with us today, whatever we do, and also to always be with our leaders, especially our Dr. Yong. We need so much of support. Please, Heavenly Parents, accept this offering of today, given by this morning devotion. And asking you, Father, to truly bless each one of our brothers and sisters to their mission in what they do, including our leaders. Thank you, Heavenly Parents. We accept this offering in our name, in the name of all those present in my name. Jimmy Flor, Mathison, bless central family, donation, Aju.
Thank you, Flora Madison, for your really heartfelt prayer. 감사합니다. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Beautiful prayer and a perfect way to close the day. God bless you, everybody. God bless you, Dr. Yong, and we will see you all again tomorrow morning. Thank you
Have
very
a nice
much.
day.